Let's get into some shite. Hi, folks. Welcome to Apocalyptic. Time to get into some shite. My favorite time. To get into shite time is a good time, in my opinion. Things are just okay here. Not bad. We're starting to get the heat in Atlanta. I don't know. I'm going to start counting down to fall. Is that okay if I do that now? All morning, my internet's been out. I had something very important I wanted to look, and you know, it always happens. It's like, ow, I got to look that up. And then as soon as you do, your phone's out, your internet's out, you can't. And then you just feel kind of stupid for complaining, right? Because it's like, oh, well, there was a time when you had to go to the library or just ask some sage, someone much smarter than you, your grandparents, a school teacher. And now it's at your fingertips, but then when it goes out, I really get irritated when I can't have my internet, because I'm one of those people who are just like all day long. I think of questions, or I think of things. I'm like, wonder who that actor was, or what's that taste in that food, whatever. It's just different things. And I need my internet to look it up constantly. I'm always feeding my mind. It's probably not a good thing to do, but my mind just like, hey, look this up for me. I need to know. So that's what I do. Yesterday, how are you, by the way? I should ask, I got choked up. I should ask about you. How are you doing? How are you feeling? How was your weekend? Did you have a good one? I do these shows for you. There's probably a small percentage where I do them for myself. I probably get something out of it. I probably would come up here and just talk into a microphone, even if no one listened. And I'm not totally sure anyone is listening, but I do them for you. And I don't know. I'm hoping they're entertaining. I'm hoping you get something out of it, but I never know. No one contacts me. No one tells me. I just guess. I'm just trying my best to do what I think, you might find some entertainment in when you go get in your car and go to work, or you just need a little bit of time off from doing nothing and resting your mind from asking you to look up, what some beast in Africa is that you see on the Discovery Channel. Yeah, that's what I do. But anyway, I hope you're doing good. Hope you're feeling well. I can't say I'm feeling well. I'm well. I am well. But I'll tell you why I'm not feeling well. I had a physical yesterday. Probably a year ago, my last physical, I suppose. And I always have a little bit of anxiety. Do you? Because you never know what they're going to do. I'm okay with physical. I don't like being poked. I don't like the needles, but they got to do it. And but I think I have more problems with body parts being stuck up inside of my body part. So so far, I haven't had to do that in a little while. At my age, I probably should, but they've got these new screening things that they do where they don't have to stick anything up in you, which I'm okay with. So they do it through blood and things like that. And then if there's some warning signs, I guess they stick things in you. But that's a very man thing, I think. That's probably something invented by dudes, because women have things. Women's exams, they got to stick lots of things in you. And yeah, it's very invasive. I can't imagine. Squishing things, pressing things, squeezing things, prodding, pushing, and sticking things in. I don't want any of that stuff. I don't like being touched in my physical, and they have to. They got to do that. They got to test it out. But all my results, at least yesterday's results, seem to be good. Blood pressure was good, down, very proud. My weight is down, good. That's a good thing. My age, yeah, going to try to keep that going. And then they did blood tests. So I got to find out. About my blood test. So I'm hoping everything is okay there. And if it is, then it's party time. Cigarettes, bacon for the, at least until next year. I would say a month before my next physical, I'll back off a little bit. That's kind of what I do. And dude, yesterday, guy was taking my blood. I don't know. He was wearing a mask. I couldn't tell. I'm saying 29. I'll say 28, 29 is his age. I guess they're playing the 80s station, and Don't You Forget About Me came on, and he was singing it. He was singing along. And I said, this song was a hit when I was in college. My last year of college, this was a hit. And I think it surprised him. Because it was like one of my parents' movies or something. And he was like, oh. And then he said, what did he say? This song is always a hit in my book or something like that. But then he knew how old I was. And I was wearing a St. Elmo's Fire t-shirt. So I kind of wrapped up the whole Brat Pack thing. Speaking of Brat Pack, Andrew McCarthy in Atlanta. Andrew, if you're listening to the podcast, love for you to come in and do a bit. He's not. He's got too many things to do. I will say, Andrew, I've seen St. Elmo's Fire 175 times. I know that's not impressive to you, but if you want to come in, just give back some of the money that I put into watching that movie. Was it 30 years ago? 40 years ago? 40. God, 40 years ago. 21. Holy mother of crap. That was a lot. 40 years ago. I'm just letting it soak in. That's amazing. That's totally amazing. Anyway, if you want to come in and do a interview, I would like that. So one of the things I had blood drawn, I told you that. And then I had I didn't even know I had the first one, but I had the second shingle shot. That's fun to say. Second shingle shot. They told me I had one the last time I was in. I had no idea. And she said, do you want your second? And I was like, well, I don't even remember the first, so might as well. And so they gave it to me. Here's what I found out about shots, and maybe you have a different experience, but the needle going in, I can't even feel anymore. I think they're making smaller needles, and they stick them. Like when I had a COVID shot, they could have just told me they did it and didn't. I couldn't feel one thing. I couldn't feel the needle going in. I couldn't feel the medicine going. I couldn't feel anything. I was like, did you do it? That's the first time I've ever had that experience. So what I found out, because they did draw blood. Now the blood, it hurt. Now if you're triggered by blood, let's go ahead. You could skip forward. I know a guy, anytime I thought of blood, he would pass out. I'm not going to go into descriptions, but I could feel the needle a little more when they did that. Like when they gave me my shingle shot, I could not feel the needle going in. And then when they squeezed the shingle, the magic shingle serum, try to say that, into my body, I could feel that. That hurt a little bit. And today, especially last night, I couldn't sleep on that shoulder where they hit it. It's really painful. And today I feel like a boxer. And that's always fun when you can pretend like you're an athlete because you have athlete pains. Like when my knee was out, I always pretend like I was some big football star, and I didn't even have to play. It's great. So I can pretend like I'm a boxer and my shoulder hurts from fighting. Yeah, that hurts. But here's the weird thing about shingles, and if you've had the shot, you know. Now, I will admit, you don't care. I know. I've had shingles, I think shingles outbreak 3 times. Was not the worst. It was not fun, but it wasn't the worst. Some people, it's like really, really bad. So for me, it was confined to one area, really small, almost nothing, but it does last a while, and it hurts. If you've ever had a mouth sore, which I think is the same thing, herpes simplex something or other, it's on the outside of your body. And so it's the same thing, that kind of, and it hurts. It stings a lot. The first time I had it, I thought it was a spider bite. And I didn't know. And I went to the doctor, and they were like, no, I think this is shingles. And I was like, whoa, I didn't even know I could get that. But if you've had chicken pox, which I have, I think you can get it. Am I going on too long? Am I going on too far? Am I getting too personal for you? I will just tell you things. It's okay. Don't tell anybody else. Just between me and you. So, but if you ever have shingles, and this is the way it happens to me, I think it happens to most people. I would say a week before I'm going to have an outbreak, and it's rare. I think I've had 3 my whole life. I start feeling like I've got the flu. You get flu symptoms. For me anyway, just this really like sluggish, like, not like sniffles and stuff, but just like maybe a headache might be involved, but your body aches and just like, you're exhausted. You just feel like you're going to get the flu. And I always forget. I'm like, oh no, here comes the flu. And then it goes away for like 2 days. And then boom, here comes the shingles outbreak. And you're like, oh yeah, forgot about that. So I got the shot yesterday. Same thing. I started feeling it. And this morning, oh man, I just feel like I'm getting the flu. I'm really down. I'm really, what do you call it? Sluggish. So you can tell, can't you? I'm drinking my Highlander Grog coffee today. And I got a little bit of Irish cream in it. This is weird because the doctor asked me yesterday about drinking. She's like, "How's your drinking? How much do you drink?" And I'm like, "I never drink. It's very rare." When I was doing this epic disaster, I had a beer a week, sometimes a little more, but that's more than what I usually have. And now that I'm not doing the live beer review anymore, I don't have a beer. I rarely have beer. So I just said, it's rare. I don't have, and then I thought, well, actually, now that I'm saying this, last night I had a gin cocktail, really good. And then this morning I had Irish cream in my coffee. So it sounds like I'm an alcoholic, but I'm not. It was just one of those days. They caught me on one of those days. I was listening to a podcast about depression today. I was going to ask you a question. We all kind of, I believe, have episodes of depression to one extent or the other. Some people, and I feel so bad for people who are just constantly under that black cloud. Because I've been in there. I've been there before. It's not a regular thing, but dang it, I've been there. It's bad. And if it's more than what I had, which probably most of the time it is, although I could tell you one time I had a really severe time. And yeah, I can't imagine living like that. And I know some people that I've been close to who do. But I'm wondering, like, when you have your episodes of depression, as we all kind of do, do you consider them, do you notice that they're triggered by actual events or an actual thing? Or do you think it's just like, it's mysterious? It's like one day it's just like, why do I feel like this? And nothing happened. So I feel like mine are usually that. A lot of times I wake up, and a lot of times, not even wake up. Sometimes it's midday. I'm just having a good time going along my life, doing what I do. And then all of a sudden it's just like, boom, a big funk just kind of like comes over me. I'm like, whoa, what happened? Nothing triggered it. I don't know if it's like some kind of chemical thing in my brain that just let out or got depleted. I don't know. But it's just like, oh, I just want to go lay down in bed in a fetal position and not get out for the rest of the day. Sometimes that's the best thing you could do. But I feel like sometimes when it's an event, and not always, but sometimes it's just sadness that people confuse for depression. And what do you think? I'm interested to hear what you think. As always, you can call the listener line 678-348-0008 and let me know how it's manifested in your life. You can also text that number if you're too shy and you don't want to call. Text it, same thing. I'll read your answer. We'll talk about it. We'll discuss it. Or you can send me an email, rick@apocalyptic.com. Apocalyptic with an E. Or just something on Facebook. Join me on Facebook, won't you? I'm curious because I feel like, because I know what it's like. I think I know what it's like both times. Like I've had marriages / relationships end where they manifested into depression, which happens a lot. I think we've all experienced that. But then I've also had those just mysterious, what the hell's going on? How I didn't do anything. I was doing this for 1 minute and it's like you could feel it. It's almost like going through a tunnel, right? It's just like you just one day, one moment, you're fine. Next moment, not so fine. And sometimes that lasts for a week, 3 days, 2 days, a week. But I'm curious. And then what do you do? How do you get out of it? Do you just rest? So here's the problem that I realize, this is kind of a theory. I think 100% of, let's say, the actions that you do after getting depressed are from listening to your mind, which is the worst thing you could do. especially in depression. Your mind knows nothing about depression. Half the time your mind causes it or certainly plays into it. So it's just like, don't listen to your mind. However, your mind is usually the only person giving you advice or the only thing giving you advice. So it's really difficult. The best thing I think you could do is just sleep. Turn your mind off. If you're able to meditate, if you're able to just do something silly, watch videos, go somewhere where you don't have to think. I always say, put yourself in a different scenario than you're used to. If you have a ritual that you do every day, certainly you have to keep going to work, but maybe you can call in sick and just go to the park, go to a bookstore, go to an antique store, go somewhere that you become a little inspired, and just, it will change your mind. It'll change the way you think. It might not take away your depression, but it will take away what's feeding and fueling the actions that the depression has. And then eventually you'll be okay. You just don't want your mind to, because your mind, a lot of times in depression, will start telling you, just end it, just do this, just hurt yourself. We don't want that. We don't want that to do that. Don't ever listen to that, because it's over. At some point, it's over. And then if you permanently do something to yourself, there's nothing you could do about it for just something a stupid suggestion that your mind made. So yeah, let me know. I'm curious. Is it event caused, or do you feel like it's chemical caused? I'm curious about what majority of the people feel. Right? Okay. Coffee's good. So I had we'll say a disagreement with my wife. My wife is not from the South, although she's lived in the South for 30 years. And we were at a market, and I said, we passed by the yellow squash. Have you had yellow squash? Now, if you're from the South, I think, my experience, yellow squash is a Southern food in a way, in the same way okra is. Now, you can have okra anywhere, obviously. You can have it in the North. You can have it in Canada. No one cares. But I just feel like it's very populous here in the South. And I believe that squash is too. So when I was growing up, I loved deep fried okra, breaded fried okra. However, we also had, probably more than okra, we would have breaded fried squash, yellow squash. Did you have that? Can you help me out here? Because I mentioned this to my wife and she acted like I was crazy. I said, you've never heard of deep fried breaded squash before? And she said, no. And she said, it must be a Tennessee thing. And I was like, no. It might be a Southern thing. I'm okay with that, but it's not an isolated Tennessee thing. It didn't just happen in my family. It's a big thing. It's a Southern food. If you've ever had fried green tomatoes, it's exactly like that. It's the same breading, the same way of cooking, just like with okra. You put breading on it, cornbread sometimes, flour, it doesn't matter, deep fry it. But I think it's very similar in texture to fried green tomatoes. When they kind of come out, they have that kind of soft little thing. Sometimes it wasn't my favorite food, but I'm surprised. My wife had never heard of. This is something you need to respond to me on Facebook. I need the assurance that I'm not crazy. I know I'm not. I know, because when I was growing up, and even though I grew up in Tennessee, when I was growing up, anytime you went to a dish dinner, like at church, if you went a family reunion, it didn't matter. Someone brought deep fried squash. And you go on YouTube, there's tons of recipes. You can look it up online. There's tons of recipes. It's not just Tennessee, and it's not just me. My wife's crazy. I'm going ahead and saying that in public. I'm just putting it out there. All right. I got one more thing to talk about really quick, because this is weird. And this is one of those things you don't have to listen to if you don't want to. It's maybe it's kind of biology / metaphysics / quantum physics / what the hell. And so I don't know why I was talking about dying. I think I was talking about my wife's mom, who died back in November, and it's affected her as you would expect, and me as well. But we were talking about how you think you're doing okay after a while. You think after a while it's just like you're kind of getting into acceptance, and then just like boom, it hits you really hard, and it's like, no, not going to accept that. But I started thinking about death because I've had a lot of people die, and it just seems so final. It just seems so unfair. It's just like here they are, they're living, they're your friends, their present is here, and then boom, nothing. No, there's no place you can go to connect with them anymore. It's just like they never were here. Was it in your mind? I don't know. So I was kind of thinking about dying, and I don't know. I thought, I've heard people say, "Oh, your mom's still here. She's watching you." And it's just one of those things where you just kind of, well, oh yeah, okay. And you want to dismiss it as being really silly. But for some reason I started thinking about that. And here's what I thought, and follow me with this. Because you think about it, you get a haircut, they cut your hair. Hair's your body, right? Comes out of your body, part of your body. You cut your hair, comes up. You're not gone. You're still there. Same with your nails. Nails part of your body, cut it off. You lose all day long. You lose cells from your body. They're all dried cells. They're falling off. They're dying. They're falling off. Your body is shedding constantly, but you're still here. We know this, right? If you're in an accident, you lose a foot, you're still here. You don't have that foot. You can't walk. It's a different feeling, but you are still here. Same with your legs. You're in an accident, you get the knees down, your legs cut off, or like waist down, whatever. You're still here, right? Let's say you're in a really big accident and all of your limbs are gone. Your legs, your arms, you're just a torso. And some people are actually born that way. I've seen some pictures. And they do fine. They're still here. Same people. They're not less people. You're not less people if that happens to you. You might feel physically different. You're going to obviously have to adjust your life. But as a person, as a being, as who you are, you still feel the same. Why? You've lost maybe half your body. Well, the answer is you're not your body. Okay? Can you accept that? You're not. Your body is water. The water you drank from outside your body, it's now your body. So there's chemicals, the food you eat. That's what your body's made up of. It's not made up of you. It's just you're just a bag of meat and bones that you built from things you ate, things you drank. It's not you. But you're somewhere, right? That feeling of you that's existed since you were 5. Okay. You lose your legs, you lose your arms, you're still here. What if you're born without a pelvic region, your lower region? And some people they've been able to survive. Still you, right? Okay. What about your tonsils? What about your teeth? Whatever your teeth fall out. You're still you, right? Everything up there? Mm-hmm. I read a meme the other day. Said something about how you were your brain. But there are people who have lobotomies. They had brain removed. Obviously, that affects the way you think. It obviously affects the way you act sometimes. But you're still you. You're still there. You haven't lost part of you because your brain is gone. So you're not your brain. What are you? I'm not going to go into that, but what I am going to go into is if you could lose all of that stuff in your body and you're still you, how do we know that you can't lose the entire body and still be you? We don't know that. I've never thought about that before. I might have thought it and dismissed it as being silly or stupid or superstitious or religious or whatever, but I never really thought about how you're you when you lose half of your body. Well, why can't you be you when you lose the other half? What we do know is you're not going to be conscious. You're not going to be an individual here on the world that's going to be dealing with people. Okay, we know that. But from the inside, the feeling that you have of being you on your inside, we don't see that anyway. How do we know that doesn't continue? I mean, that's something to really ponder. That's something to really, maybe when you die, it's only your body that's dying. Maybe you might still have some consciousness available, right? It can't be that far-fetched to think about. Other parts of your body, you're still there. So let's think maybe the rest of it, you might still be there. So I can't say that people who have died aren't still conscious of us. That would be creepy. That would be weird. I don't know what to think about it, but I do know that I kind of want to think about it. I kind of want to chase it, see where it goes. Okay? Maybe it's weird. Maybe that's too far gone. Maybe you don't want to even think about that. But I find it very fascinating, and it's just something I never really thought of before. So I thought I would think about it. So I thought I'd bring it up. That's all the show I'm going to do. I'm quitting the show right now. Stopping, not forever. I'm stopping it right now. I got work. I got to go do work. And I got to drink the rest of my coffee. And I'm feeling fluish. So, yeah, please get in touch with me. 678-348-0008. You can just call. That listener line is for you. I put it there for you. Text it. And then you can send me some email. I'm going to start doing more blogging on the apocalyptic.com page. That will happen hopefully in July. I'm closing down my gallery. Once my gallery is closed, I'm going to have a lot more time to do that so we can blog. I'll probably do some Zooming. I don't know if I've got enough people listening to me to actually do Zooming, but even if there's 2 people, who cares? If there's 1, we might. Yeah, okay. So I might do that. I've got to get some more guests, so I'll have a lot more time to do that. It'll be a lot more fun, I think. Tell me what you think. If you want me to quit, should I just quit? Should I stop? Okay, I'm going to stop. Stopping right now. All right, people, thank you for joining me. I will probably talk to you Thursday. Yeah, I'm making a note right now. Thursday.